So we've been talking about this for a little bit. Playing Traumatic Critique as your main Wincon and Wilderness Reclamation. Um, I think this is a really big deal. I think it's a really, really big deal. It's like winning the game with Rec. You have to play some stupid nonsense. Like you have to play before the Traumatic Critique. You have to play like Nexus of Fate plus some number of creatures. Like you have to have Staffcasters in your deck. You have to have like I don't know, dude. It's like you have to like it's like winning the game is it used to suck. It used to really suck with Wilderness Trek. Like take forever. It's a big problemo. You have to play some really expensive cards that are going to lose you the game when you draw them early. Critique has just been a good card. I just feel like this card has been as solid as 2 mana draw two, discard one. It's not great to filter early, but it does just cycle for 2 mana. Can be removable as starting at 3 mana. It can be just a good 2-for-1, kind of like an Electrolyze. In this deck, it's the main win condition is to just fireball your opponent to death, which is a pretty dang good plan. And this lets you build the deck in a way where your curve is just like all cheap interaction. It's like all cheap interaction for Growth Spiral. I think Growth Spiral is still pretty good. It's like when you're holding up like Counterspell, Fire, Ice, Discharge, Snare, Counterspell, Consult. You just being able to Growth Spiral on turn 2 is pretty good, and then it's also good on your Rec turns too. Um, but this I think the card just fits the deck so well. I'm a little less sure about the Cryptic Commands, but why I ended up playing them is because I wanted to be playing some Flashbacks. I've been liking Flashback a lot, just kind of as a good card, and I think in this deck it's going to play pretty well. It's been playing well in like the Rakdos Coffers deck. So I've been excited to play the flashbacks here, and then I'm kind of just interested in seeing how like flashback Cryptic Command goes. Without any board sweepers, just like something that buys you a turn. I do think is kind of nice. Um, could this Wilderness Rec deck secretly be an archaic deck? Lots of instants and sorceries to copy? No. I don't think this would be a good archaic deck. It doesn't work well with Wilderness Reclamation. You have none of these cards like fill extra instants and sorceries in the graveyard. And at the moment with Archaic, it doesn't seem like the deck building requirement is cast a lot of instants and sorceries. The deck building requirement is like you have to be like putting stuff in there quicker. You have to be milling yourself, surveilling a bunch. I do want to play more of the Archaic. I'm a little bit torn on which direction to go with next on it. We're playing some cool utility lands too. We've got one Cori mounted monastery, one I think this is what Agna Qel'a. Probably will mispronounce this every time. I'm also playing 4 Surveil lands. We're playing a pretty high land count with 24. Surveil lands play really well with Growth Spiral. And just really well in this deck in general. But let's go ahead and get in there. Broke it. I broke it. This tournament is all Wilderness Reclamation, and I'm farming the Rec players. And then I lost to it like the next 6 times. It was crazy. It was crazy. I streamed the event. I don't know. I'm sure no one was there, but I had flashbacks too. Okay, my opponent's last seen 4 days ago on Domain Zoo. They go into mold the 6. They lead on a polluted delta. So this only enters on tap if you control a plains or an island. I think with the basic force in their hand are always getting Thundering Falls, and the Monastery will enter untapped. I think I'm going to graveyard this. They didn't play a creature turn 1. We can counter future creatures. Somewhat high chance we end up getting to snare and surveil this turn. Get our Hedge Maze. Okay, I think I like this a lot, so I could try to ice a blue source and be able to resolve a Wilderness Reclamation next turn. I don't think I really want to main phase ice, or sorry, upkeep ice. Could fire this, I guess, end of turn. Okay, I think what I'm actually going to do is I think I'm going to fire this now. And then my intention here is to not get got by Kaito and to save Snare for Psychic Frog. So I don't think we should be jamming right now either. You know, just being able to go wreck with Snare up next turn does seem pretty powerful. I think with that in mind, I'm even going to... I'm going to Logic Knot here. I might be prioritizing resolving the Reclamation a little bit less. I might prioritize it a little bit less if I didn't have the Cori Mountain Monastery in my hand. They do keep a card on top. It is weird that my opponent played 2/2 drops and I didn't use my Snare at the time. Okay, then they can't tap 2 mana, can't Snare that. And they are missing their land drop. So if they have Spell Pierce, we will Anguish. Maybe a Force of Negation? Guess not. I think it's a little greedy, but I kind of like being able to hold up the Snare and activate this turn. Most of their good threats cost 2, you know. They hardcast the Kaito, so we get as punished as possible. We did play around it kind of earlier with the Bowmaster, huh? They go ahead and Surveil 2. We don't have any energy banked. We should still be in like pretty reasonable shape, but got super punished there. Okay, so while this is their turn, this does have hexproof. I guess we can Surveil. Return target permanence to its owner's hand. Draw a card. It's been a little while since we've cast a Cryptic Command on stream, huh? It is definitely a good stabilized card. All right, now this game seems... Okay, well now it seems even more super duper over. So let's exile our top card. It's a Steam Vents. I think I'm just going to go ahead and cycle Ice right now. That's fine. The second Cryptic Command has hit the game, although we're one short of casting the Monastery, or activating the Monastery. We do just draw another land. Although here's Traumatic Critique. So this is worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 plus another 10. 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 plus 9. 7 plus 9 is 16. All right, I think that's lethal. All right, Exacxes. Let's go. I got, you know what? Shout out Expansion Explosion. You walked so Traumatic Critique could run. Okay, so we're going to bring in the Disputes. Probably going down on... I mean, I guess Fire Ice is good against Bowmaster. But I think Discharge, Snare, I can clean up most of the Bowmasters. Yeah, I think it's probably just trimming these. Nice to have 6 1-mana counterspells for Frog on the drum. And we do have... Having the 1-mana counterspell is just... It is so important, so definitely going to keep this. Maybe they have like a Thoughtseize into Frog. So they probably don't have a Frog in their hand if they're not snap taking Mystical Dispute. They tanked take Mystical Dispute, so we'll see. I'll Surveil. This will enter untapped. Sure. What'd you suggest for RCQ? Goryo, Jeskai Blink, Blue Black One, Blue White Control. I'd probably suggest Goryo's. Of all of those, I think that's the only deck that's actually like pretty good against Boros. I think I think it's a big misconception that let's counter this. I think it's a big misconception that Jeskai Blink is really good against Boros. I think it's pretty mediocre against them. Seems like it'd be pretty budget and paper. Yeah, besides the mana, it is pretty inexpensive, I guess. They didn't crack for a fetch land, which is, makes me think that they've got some kind of one mana counter spell. So I need to think about growth spiraling first or not. Oh, they've got the Kaito. Best flourishing so far, Omnath version. I think that the it's either that or the Eldrazi. Alright, let me spiral. Probably gonna go spiral counterspell. Okay, it's obviously a great draw. So I believe if I draw a land, I can kill the Kaito. I might be miscounting. Untapped land, should say. Yeah, so I'll be floating one, and then yeah, we have exactly enough. So let's see if this resolves first, because if it doesn't resolve, we'll get a surveil. Probably getting island. That was a really good series of events, huh? I do think traumatic critique is pretty insane in general and also in this deck, of course. So we did counter the Tamio, so they've got a clue token, they've got 3 other cards in their hand. One of them is a Psychic Frog. And then they've got a Quantum Riddler, which does let them draw 2. And they pass back. We find a Consult the Star Charts. Well, let's go and lead on a Wilderness Reclamation, which is +2 mana. Or sorry, I guess just +1 mana, right, this turn. So to kill this for sure, I'll need to deal 5 damage to it. So I guess I can do that and hold up the Consults. When will deck text be available again? I feel like you've asked this a bunch, Driven, and I think I've told you every time. We don't just in between rounds of challenges, if you want to post your list, that's fine, but we don't do scheduled deck text or formal deck text anymore. All right, I think while they're tapped out, let's just go ahead and consult. Might take Otawara over Galvanic Discharge. Yeah, so I guess I'm just gonna go for the kill here. Yeah, thanks, nerd. Yeah, this is our first match with it, but I've been excited to finally get around to this. Strixhaven has got me real busy. Nine, 10, 11, 12, 13. I guess they could flashback Cling to Dust. We'll see. I don't think they're probably going to do that. All right, let's see if they have a third counterspell. This is turn 6. All right. Good first match. I would really like having a snare on the draw. I think I'm probably going to have to mulligan. All right, let's keep this because we'll put back the flashback. What happens if they surgical our critiques? Kaheera hard carries. So this is Living End. We've got Endurances and Disputes in the sideboard. Endurance is like a lot more premium against Living End in a deck like this, where we're not playing any creatures. So like sometimes if you're playing like a Badger Bowl Cub deck, your Endurances won't be that good against Living End because they still get to 3-mana Wrath you. But we don't care about that at all. Hard to say no to any 2-mana counterspell. My opponent is missing a land drop after cycling 4 times and Generous Hinting and Surveilling. Pretty unlucky for them. I think I'm going to keep this since it'll be an easy way to get my 4th land. And it seems very, very likely I'll be able to cast it into this turn. So they find land number 3. If they do just cast a Cascader, we should be happy enough that they're jamming, I think. Don't think the Logic Knot's getting much better than this. Shout out Simian Spirit Guide. I used to play Logic Knot in the Simian Spirit Guide format some, and it was always a little bit of a headache. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to check on how the challenge is doing. Yeah, 26 out of 64 players have joined. Please join the challenge if you have the time and the interest. It fired last time. I'm hoping it'll fire again. So let's go ahead and counter this. I think I'm going to Traumatic Critique for 0 here. Curious why no wreck there. The card Force of Negation is a 4 of in our opponent's deck. And with an opponent who's been missing land drops and has 7 cards, they're very, very likely to have it. And if they have it, we cast the Wilderness Reclamation, they force, they get to resolve this Shardless Agent, and we will lose the game. That's my last Surveil land, by the way. Am I playing the Showcase this weekend? I think so. Don't know if I'm going to stream it or not. So now I'm going to counterspell this. That's the second Cascader. I do think that the wreck is almost definitely going to get forced. Did you consider loot for this deck instead of wreck? Well, the one thing is, I feel like loot is like for sure worse. Like without really having to think too much about it, it seems like it's just like for sure the worst, the worst of the 2 options. So I didn't consider too seriously. No, like Wilderness Reclamation gives you mana back immediately on turn 4. Loot doesn't. I'm not super interested, I guess. Let me take a critique and a counterspell. Oh no, I mistapped, so I can't cast the Spiral. They discard the 3rd Living End, so they probably can't Cascade anymore. So hope they don't have 2 Force Negations. So I should tap the Commercial District. So it should feel somewhat comfortable to counterspell the Force of Negation because they have 3 Living Ends in their yard. However, they don't even force. Almost seemed like they were thinking about it. Let me cast Critique here. Maybe 1 loot is okay. Yeah, I just don't really feel like I want a 5th wreck in this deck, and loot is also like, it's easier to kill artifacts than it is enchantments. I just do not believe in the card. Commandeer. Oh, okay. I'm gonna cast Counterspell. They pitched 2 copies of Ardent Plea. Would Mistrise Village be better over Otawara? I really feel like that card sucks. I guess. I'm not care. We just crushed a counterspell deck. I think our deck is good against counterspell decks in general. I think it makes your good matchups better. I would just rather have Otawara, which is a much more versatile card. Also, Otawara also it always enters untapped, which I think is like very notable. I'm a big hater of Mistrise Village. I think it's okay in Living End, but I just generally think it's pretty overrated. Most of this one Halo Forger. They don't seem to be playing any black mana in their deck. I think the Ardent Pleas don't play Halo Forager. Well, I'm gonna kick this. If they have another Commandeer, they have another Commandeer. Nice. Probably taking the land. It'll let me loot away the snare, and I can loot a bunch with it next turn. Generally agree, but man, Besage Disruptor's all been good for combo decks. I guess so. Like this just isn't a combo deck. You know, this is a control deck. So like I think that this card, or I think that card is good, and I think it's good in Living It. You know, a deck that is like particularly weak to combo decks. I don't think it's good in this deck. Is Cori still kind of ever a good finisher in this deck? No. Traumatic Critique is the finisher, and I feel like it's almost we don't even really need to talk about it. That I mean, it's weird because it's the new card, but like I think with Traumatic Critique, you can just feel like you're really blessed, and that there's not really any need for anything else. The card is so insane. So they are able to endurance their Living Ends back into their deck here. But they also endurance all their creatures back into. So I guess we win the game. What would you play if you're trying to playing a big modern tournament and trying to win? I do think that Amulet Titan is the best deck in the format still. Yeah, it is pretty similar to Expansion Explosion, except it's just good early in addition to doing this. It's also a little bit more efficient at doing this. They can't really have anything here. Yeah, Titan board like it's just like a lot. I think like the main top decks are like Boros and Tron and Prowess and Affinity, and Titan is like insane against all of these. So and it's kind of hard to say anything else. All right, gonna bring in the endurances, gonna bring in the disputes, gonna cut all of the discharges and the snares, but then I have one slot left. So do I play one discharge? It does kill subtlety. Yes. Does have some bad matchups, Titan does, but not super duper bad. We couldn't pay more mana than their life total. We could. Why would you want to? Is Archmage's Charm an option? I almost played Archmage's Charm. But didn't really make the list. Not sure why you think Titan is good against Prowess. I guess my experience is why. Why? What? Probably will keep this. Prowess and Storm are the worst matchups. I guess I just disagree. Maybe open decklist changes it. It's I think like so like if Prowess is on the play, I think that they maybe have an edge, but I think that if they are not on the play, they Titan has a huge edge, and overall Titan has percentage points over Prowess. I think Storm and Neoform are Titan's worst matchups. The decks that are actually faster than it. But Prowess, like, you know, it has some turn 3 kills. It doesn't have that many turn 3 kills. Titan can't be Prowess. Prowess wins on turn 3. This is a very funny thing to say, although you're probably just baiting, but Titan also is a turn 3 deck that also, like, the Arboreal Grazer blocking matters a lot. I'm not getting sucked into this. I'm not getting sucked into this. And like one thing about the okay, I would say one more thing about the prowess matchup versus Titan. Prowess has like no agency really. Like it's very difficult unless they're playing like Magus of the Moons in the sideboard to have like any cards that matter at all that's disrupting Titan. You just have to be faster through their disruption, through their deck that's as fast as yours, and they have Grazer as jump blockers too. Okay, that's the end of the suck in. Maybe a little bit weird to use my only green card there, although here's a green card. So if we had one more green card, I guess we could jam the wreck, but we don't, so let's just pass. They do have no creatures in the graveyard, but obviously they could just go cycle, living end. It's like Teferi with Dispute up. Feels like Teferi with Dispute up. I think I should cast the Cryptic. And it just resolved. Each player cannot cast more than one non-creature spell each turn. I don't even. Is this even good against me? I don't know. Why grow Spiral over Planar Genesis? In my experience, it's better. Is the short answer. Putting the land into play untapped can be pretty nice because they force pitch agent there. Putting the land into play untapped can be pretty nice. And one problem with Planar Genesis is it's never ramp and a card that finds you action. It's ramp or a card that finds you action, which I have found to be like a problem with the card for me. I do like the card selection from it. You also do like brick on the land sometimes too. But also like being able to go like spiral into discharge, spiral into snare, something I really like. 1, 2. I guess the dispute's maybe not all that good with the deafening silence out there. This could be a Kaheera game also. This seems worse. Shuts off Ardent Plate. Oh wait, also wait, hold on. How? I may be too sleepy. How does my living end opponent have deafening silence in play right now? Just like in general. How is this here? It took me a second, but why? How is this here? We also haven't seen a single creature. I guess this lets me endurance and cryptic if I shock. We saw agent. We did see agent. That's true. Yeah, I remember. I remember Doomwake getting spell pierced by living end. So one thing is like living end can never resolve here. I don't know if I want to shuffle two forces and it's a fairy back in their deck. I think I do want to shuffle this back into my deck, and maybe it's worse. It's worse if I draw flashback, but I'll have stuff for flashback. I guess I'll cycle an ice. So they cascaded into living end. They couldn't cast it because of their own deafening silence. And this will probably be the last time they ever register the card. Yeah, now their endurance can attack for 4 as well. They didn't cast that? They pitched an agent earlier. Okay, we got 20 minutes before the challenge starts. We are 2040. There are deceit builds are probably better against it. Well, I love having a hand like this on the play. Let's keep. I guess I probably lead on breeding pool so I can take less damage. What have we played against so far? We played against Living End. We played against Temur Fraud. Deck has looked pretty good so far. Although my Living End opponent did cast a Deafening Silence, and then they cast an Ardent Plea. But like the Deafening Silence, like it's just so even if the Cascade Ardent Plea thing wasn't a thing, the Deafening Silence guarantees I can counter their Living Ends. Like my counter spells will always resolve on their Living Ends. Okay, my opponent's mulled the 6 after a minute. Also, like, why not play High Noon? I guess you can play a creature too. They mulled the 6, they play a Wooded Foothills, and they pass the turn. For the Cauldron deck, have you not felt you want to find Cauldron more often? I guess not really. I mean, you have a good bit of card draw with the frogs and the Grands, but what's also nice about the Cauldron deck is, you can just cast all of your cards and eventually you'll draw a Cauldron and cast it. You play 4 of them in the deck, you see a good amount of cards. I think it's like I think a lot of times you'll be playing a combo deck that's built around Cauldron or card like Cauldron, and you're like, I have to draw it, I have to draw it, I have to put it in play every turn. But then once you start like diminishing your card quality by playing more, let's say Preordains, which is probably the card you'd play if you wanted to find Cauldron more often, all of a sudden like your turns are slower and your draws are clunkier, and you have worse plan Bs. But um you just let the Cauldron come to you. Have your cards kind of be good when you draw them in any order, and I think that's probably a better plan overall. I think with the Cori Mountain Monastery, I'm going to keep a second Reclamation, and we'll just go Critique and get our nice 2-for-1 on the Brood Scale. I still want like 2-1 in this deck. I couldn't disagree more. It's like the difference between playing 0 creatures and 2 creatures is huge. Every Fatal Push, every Galvanic Discharge, every Solitude is dead in my opponent's deck right now. If you play 2 wands, all of a sudden, like the wands, they just, I'm sorry for the image. The bird is getting lightning bolted. It's just a lightning rod immediately. It's just getting cooked every single time the bird enters the battlefield. All right, good thing we got a second one. Ooh, I clicked yes. I've clicked once. I've clicked twice. I'm gonna click yes again. Okay, it worked this time. It's kind of crazy how over this game is already. As if the game wasn't already over enough, huh? Nice to see Monastery. I thought the land was overshadowed by Arena. Yeah, I mean, this deck is definitely pretty good. I've been liking it. I think so. Like one thing is the blue land. We're also playing the Avatar: The Last Airbender blue land. Like that one is pretty nice because it's blue. This I can't play too many of this, but it's been pretty good today. They do get a Haywire Might. And they do have a green source. So we're going to lose our second Wilderness Reclamation. We do only have 2 critiques left. We also have 2 flashbacks, so we probably never really need to worry about that, I guess. So Cavern is very, very good draw here. Why not bounce it there with Cryptic Command? Well, one thing, maybe that line makes more sense knowing that Cavern of Souls is about to interplay. But for the most part, you want to hold your Cryptic Commands in these spots where your opponents are stumbling. But I mean, again, if you are Psychic and you know they're about to play Cavern of Souls, sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I untap and discharge first. Because it doesn't really matter too much. So right now my snare counters exactly Malevolent Rumble. So I'm going to put one back there. So they have 2 spells in their hand because they have missing land drops. Oh, I guess my snare does counter at Brood Scale if they tap their Cavern for a Fleshraker. I think at this point, I mean, one, I don't really want this to resolve because I do have a couple flashbacks in my deck. They've got 1 card left in their hand after this. They've got the Cavern in play. If their 1 card is Cryptic Command, or sorry, Kozilek's Command, maybe we got. Wait, can they cast Immer? Okay, it's Ballista. Okay, just a 2/2 Ballista. Challenge starting in 10 minutes. 9 players left, should fire. We're at 18, we can pass here. I guess I should leave fire as an out to this here. All right, I'll just take Wreck and Consult. They could be playing Flash Fire in our deck sideboard. Yeah, I'll give you a finder's fee, Matthew. I guess I'm just gonna hold the Cryptic. Just draw a card, discard a card. So we untap, surveil for turn. Don't think I care much about Otawara at this point. Wilderness Reclamation number 3. No flashback fire is what they meant. Yeah, this is way better. I'm gonna watch this. Like, I don't know why you do that instead of setting up to like consult the star charts with 10 lands in play. We'll definitely find an answer for this, and we'll also find. Yeah, it looks like we found Traumatic Critique to win the game with next turn. So we will probably lose to an Emrakul if they have an Emrakul. But their window to have it is pretty small here. So in the interest of not letting them find Emrakul off the Stirrings, let's counter draw, I think. I guess I can't deal 20 next turn. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7 plus 9, 16 again. Okay, and another Fleshraker. This one is uncounterable. So if I cast Traumatic Critique, I am down to one copy left in the deck and one Flashback. Let me just loot. Okay. I think we just activate this main phase. 4, 5, 6. You know what? I think we've been given a little bit of a gift here. Because now I'm not going to count all these types. I should count. I'm not going to. But I do think that this probably cuts them off Emrakul. I guess I could wait on this, but I'll be firing them, I think. Could also loot. Right now I'm dealing 16 damage, and so if I fire and I draw a land, I win. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Yes, I can deal 16 damage. So I guess I'll just well, I guess I can't tap out for it. Okay, we'll activate this guy again. Okay, so we will win the game next turn. I think in the interest of time, especially with the challenge starting, I'm just not going to be floating mana and stuff here. You would Ice Cavern and upkeep. I think that could be fine. I'm pretty sure this cuts them off. Like they have to have 7 types. I guess maybe they do have 7 types. 1, 2. Yeah, they don't have Kindred. I think it's fine. We win. Slight expansion explosion, but good. So let's bring in the Force of Vigor. Fire magic does kill Fleshraker. It does kill spawn tokens from K Command, and I guess the Chrysalis. And it does. I think I do want at least one. I think I want at least one Meltdown as well. I'm not playing any consigns in the sideboard. I kind of feel like I was kind of thinking those matchups might just be good without them. The Cavern of Souls has got me kind of scared. Obviously, we can play consigns in our sideboard if we want to. Maybe Endurance to slow down Emrakul. Maybe. It's not very good. Maybe one more Fire Magic. I'm going to try going down to Flashbacks. They're going to keep their Lantern. It's not great against K Command either. Go down to 1 Fire Magic. 1 Growth Spiral. Challenge is starting in 1 minute also. We're 2-0 up a game with our Wilderness Reclamation League, so I would really like to not concede to focus on the challenge, if I can help it. It's a long game 1. Keeping this on the draw. It's a good top deck for us. What do you do if your critique is good surgical? Do you beat them to death with Kaheera? Did the challenge not fire again? I think it fired. Yeah, got 89 gamers. I'll tell you this: being asked about what do you do if your traumatic critique is surgical, this is going to happen a lot more than your traumatic critique actually getting surgical. So they may be resolving a K command here. gonna move this over to the other monitor. Let's go to 6, I think. Sure. I think I'm gonna put back. I guess I'll put back the critique. Super awkward game one conceding to the Thoughtseize, but showing you I was on Tamashi seemed like a not great outcome. When I didn't think I could beat a Pincer Professor already. That's funny. Yeah, I think it was a fine concession depending on what your hand was. I ended up just feeling like if you're gonna go conceding to a Thoughtseize, you're probably kind of weak to Force of Negation. But I did board out 3 of my fatal pushes, which I just happened to have the one fatal push at a pretty good time. So they play Guide of Souls on turn 2. I have the Hedge Maze in my hand, huh? I want to have Fire, Ice, Snare, and Growth Spiral up, so I think I had to get the Commercial District. And I get punished for drawing Counterspell, kind of. All the Boros players play at night now. If I play during the day, I probably won't play Boros. I play at night. At least 2 or 3 matches are guaranteed to be Boros. Huh. I guess they all got jobs. Can't relate. Keep a card on top with Elegant Parlor. They had jobs. They wouldn't have energy on that. You're on fire today, 4 dogs. If only Guide of Souls had 1 toughness. We made it to the blocker step. We're on the second main phase. All right. I do want this land. Knowing the lands on top will let me go Growth Spiral into Snare. I don't want to dunk on Planar Genesis too hard, but I just it's this sequence I think that really makes me like Spiral. The ability to ramp and play a spell on turn 2. So they have nothing they want to play main phase 1. Now we're all the way down to 15. So they don't have a land in their hand, I guess. Could maybe keep that on top and just try to bank on kicking Consult into a Discharge. I think I'll just play the Steam Vents untapped. One more thing about Ranger Captain over Fable that is like good for Boros is if you're playing that and you're playing Voice of Victory, all of a sudden you just have a bunch of 3 toughness creatures against Pyroclasm effects. It's not the biggest deal ever, but I'm thinking about it for my sideboarding here. Maybe it's me. I don't like letting Captain resolve. We didn't have a blue up, but I would have countered it. Yes, if I had Counterspell available. Yeah, I think I'm gonna kick Consult and try to find a Discharge here. Maybe Discharge plus Wreck, double Demonic Tutor. We do find a Wreck. We only find 1. It's gonna be 4 power. So we're going down to 9, then down to 3. I guess we're pretty dead. So we're going to have to non-kick Consult here. Yeah, Brotherhood is, it's better, but it's also harder to snag Guide of Souls before it flies something. Don't they just sack Captain? So the plan is to find Discharge Captain, ice the Guide of Souls, hold up Counterspell. Which I think that would have worked. We didn't find a Discharge in the top however many cards there. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the Fire Magics and I think all of the Endurances. And I think I'm going to cut one Flashback, maybe two. Cut the Cryptics, cut the Logic Knot. Yeah, we could have gone Ice, dead to a land. Not really like a lot of sequences that get us out of there at that point, though. I think it seems fine. Can maybe go down a Dramatic Critique. I think I've been liking Critique against Boros, though. How has Dramatic Critique been better than Action Explosion? Just in about every way you could imagine. It's better at dealing damage, and it is better at. You can cast it turn 2 to cycle. You can spin it. It could be a 3 mana 2 for 1. It's just better in about every way. Am I pitching or hardcasting Endurance? Hardcasting. You almost never want to pitch Endurance against Boros. Although you always have a free pitchable with Kaheera for whatever that's worth. Although it's a little weird to be like, put Kaheera in hand and then spend 3 mana to put in hand and then pitch it for 0. Guess more relevant with the one of Force of Vigor. How often does Boros and Captain these days? It feels kind of 50-50. I think Captain has always been better than Fable and Boros. I think it's grindier than Fable. It's a better top deck than Fable, and it's more interactive and more resilient to Pyroclasms. Maybe less resilient to other cards, but I would just always play Ranger Captain instead. Makes you better in like all of your bad matchups. Gotta mulligan this. How often am I gonna want to go Surveil into Surveil? Probably not very often here. When conditions seem a bit short, looks fun. We have 4 Traumatic Critiques and Flashbacks for them. Do you think that the diversification of the meta can somehow lead us to a Lutri deck being a good companion, building a singleton control deck that can handle most of the decks? I mean, this you don't need to use so many words to ask a question. You know, you're overthinking it. Lutri's playable. We've been playing Lutri every once in a while and having a good win record with it. Yes, you can play Lutri in Modern and have a winning record with it. We've played a good bit of it. I feel like compared to every Wilderness Reclamation deck I've ever played, it's like the easiest to win a game with this build. I don't know. Is Meltdown just been Recall? Yeah, Recall sucks, dude. Recall sucks. I think I will use Galvanic Discharge. Bully Spike. I was bully. Who was I bullying? "15 matches in progress." The Pouring Ghost Call. I don't know. I feel like a bit of banter. Although you just see this a lot. You know, it's like you just way overthink it. You way overthink your Lutri. It's like the meta convergence of diversification, higher card quality. Lutri, it's just Lutri is good. You know, you just I've been there. I joke because I'm you. You know, I joke because I am you. You know what you know what I mean. You can play Lutri, and you can have a winning record with it. We've done it. Fastest Boros player. Temur Rec, really, in today's Modern? Yeah, it's been looking pretty good. Traumatic Critique has been a big upgrade, I think. I don't think we've drawn a Flashback, or at least we haven't cast one. But I've been liking Flashback enough in the Rakdos Coffers deck. I think it's fine. I'd love to draw a green source. Tough to mulligan on the play with this deck in this matchup. Play their 4th land. You don't think you're supposed to go for Kaheera here. My opponent neutral gens. They played nothing. We're 1-0 in the challenge. They keep a card on top. I don't think I'm going to aggressively endurance the season Pyromancer here. I wonder if this turn was a Kaheera turn into hand opening. Maybe. So they're gonna what? They're gonna play Legend of Roku. I did think about Archmage's Charm. I decided against it, unfortunately. They reveal a Goblin Bombardment, 2 lands, and weirdly lines up kind of bad against my Snare. We also have Galvanic Discharge to deal with the flip side. I don't think I'm going to play around Dashed Ragavan. Weird game. I mean, it's still like a 3-for-1. Maybe not 3-for-2 because they had to use the chant. Yeah, like I just don't think there's a card you could really cut for Charm. I think maybe some of the Cryptics and the Flashbacks, but I think I really like both of those cards a lot. Have I watched Weekend at Bernie's? I haven't. I have not seen Weekend at Bernie's. I'm familiar with the plot. Very weird draw they've got over there. I think I've got a graveyard that I just need card draw. Here's card draw. Let's play the Kaheera this turn. Like if I'm able to get in for like an extra 5 damage, like one and then 3. All of a sudden my traumatic critiques are they're just like pretty lethal. Yeah. So they're 1 mana shy of making a dragon right now. They cast a Seasoned Pyromancer, which is pretty good. How was Pensive Professor? It tested super well on Wednesday, and we're 1-0 in the challenge with it right now. They discard a Thraben Charm, and they discard an Arena of Glory. Any thoughts on teachings? I think card sucks. I have played it in this archetype a bunch, and I'm done getting tricked by that card. So they may have another Thraben Charm, Orim's Chant. Okay, got Monastery and Counterspell up. Why don't I upload any of the challenges to YouTube? My editor handles the uploads. I think that the chopping up is a difficult challenge for him. You know, with the daily uploads too. I just like to give him selection on what he uploads. Kind of sad there's no space for Nexus. Yeah, I'll kind of miss the Nexus too, but it's also nice not to have a 7 drop anymore. Let's go ahead and take this trade. More than one. It's like it's a 1 or 0 kind of thing.
Testing, 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 testing. It seems back. It seems like it's back. It's just my same mic. Okay, I don't understand. It just I just had to I re-added the source. It was the same source was there. It was there. Okay, I'm gonna let this connect at least once. Yeah, I need to change the settings and stuff because major echo. Okay. Okay, weird. Okay, so I added the source again. I added the source again, and for some reason that reminded the original source of its existence, I guess, and it just is back. Okay, great. I couldn't find a micro USB cable for my backup mic. I'll need to make sure I have one of those. Sorry for the delay, everybody. Very weird. Well, I guess that's perfect. Let's traumatic critique for 0 so we can try to fire magic with counterspell up next turn. Yeah, we're also up 6 minutes on the clock at this game. Classic fine tap land. Okay. Yeah, that's not a tap land. I love tech stuff like that. The actual reason for what's happening needs a computer science degree, but you look like a wizard for hitting on. So I certainly don't feel like a wizard after that, but I'm just glad it worked. Sasuke's friend. I don't know that Sasuke has any friends. Thank you for the 2 months. Welcome back. Only one match still going on in the challenge at the moment. We're 1-0. We beat Tamashi combo with lands in round 1. Yeah, I think we'll keep this. Honestly, Cori Mountain Monastery has been like kind of the all-star today. It's definitely not a bad card to draw ever. I saw some people chatting about Prismari Charm over Fire Ice. I definitely liked Prismari Charm and didn't love it when we were playing it before. But I do want to play more Archaic. I don't want to give up on that card yet. Why not untap land plus rec? Mostly like untap land plus rec doesn't let us do anything, right? Like we still have counterspell discharge up. And then next turn we can go Monastery plus rec and have the activation up. And so I thought the surveil was just more important to get this turn. Maybe not. I feel like we've got to cut the fire ice. I really have liked the fire ice, but maybe I'm just a bit of a boomer with it. I don't know. Yeah, I guess they could have Raven Charm here too, pretty easy. Have we tried Vibrant Outburst? Which one's Vibrant Outburst? Can't recall. Oh, that one? That card's not playable, probably. It does seem like we're gonna get Thraben Charmed. I think I'll play around Thraben Charm. Yeah, Prismari Charm not killing Guide of Souls really stinks. I do sometimes wonder, like, if Guide of Souls had 1 toughness, would everything just be fine? I don't know. Probably not. Like Fire Ice is just, in any matchup, the cycle is going to be good on it. Is it Charm unplayable? It can be like in your deck builder's toolkit, but it's like they sure did unban Faithless. Renin 6 with Wreck Energy. I mean, that would be good. Just have more cards good against them. So they kept a card on top. Now they're hasting something with Arena of Glory. It's a Seasoned Pyromancer. So let's see if they discard the Raven Charm here. They discard Wear Tear, so kind of the same thing. Yeah, I mean, with Amped Raptor, it definitely wouldn't have been fine on release. I agree. So I think I'm just gonna take 2 and activate the Monastery here. Another Fire Magic would be nice, I guess. Snare, not doing a lot. I suppose I don't need to do anything right now. Doesn't flow state go hard with lore and revealed? I think the bar of going hard is probably higher than that. Yeah, I don't think this. I mean, you can play lore and revealed in this archetype, but I kind of feel like these kind of utility lands are better. Like this card has been like absurd all day. The bounce mode on Prismari is also nice. Flood mode, how strong? Show me how strong that effect can be. I think it's kind of hard to evaluate, but it definitely can be strong. So round 2 of the challenge is starting soon. I guess I'm gonna fire a guide, and I think I'll ice the Seasoned Pyromancer. Maybe I should have iced first. Nice. So I'm going down to 9. Pretty good. So an Endurance would be an awesome find. I can like float a green and I can still Endurance second main phase. If I don't find Endurance, I need to find a Counterspell. Might want to play a land, so we'll main phase this. Is their last card Mana Tithe? So they got 1 card in their hand. We're going to 5 life. We're going to fire magic before we Endurance so we can not let them get the tokens from the Seasoned Pyromancer. Do I want another one? I guess yes. We have the Cori Mountain Monastery as a source of card advantage. Oh, almost mistapped. Yeah, like I think I'm pretty happy playing 4 Surveil lands. So opponent was last seen playing Eldrazi ramp 3 days ago. I did go ahead and I added the 4th consign in the sideboard of the Temur deck today. Not that they're definitely still playing it. We are on the play. I am going to. I think I have to mulligan. Yeah, I've got to mulligan this. In the play on the blind. Some matchups we could try to like reluctantly keep, I think. So my opponent in the Boros match, they play in a Johnny, so I guess I'm happy I kept the fire magic on top. My opponent maybe not here yet. We can just go ahead and focus up. Might as well lead on the Monastery activation. I think with the Arena of Glory, I'm okay not attacking. We also have the Kaheera to think about. Just give the Endurance Vigilance. Do you have enough mana to activate the... Yeah, I have enough to activate and still hold up Kick Fire Magic. So let's go and do this first. We have to use the floating mana, though. I guess I should have tapped where I had double green available for another Endurance. Slick Sequence. I liked Slick Sequence a little bit. We have messed with it before. Dimir Cauldron's been very good. We 4-1 both leagues. We're 1-0 in the challenge. Not sure if my opponent's here yet for round 2. They do not seem to be here yet. I think with this draw, we'll take a turn off of card selecting. Also, maybe a little bit. I just want to be finishing this game. This feels pretty wrapped up. Well, you may be summoning back-to-back Phlages or Legend of Roku into Phlage here, but hopefully you're right. Imagine you're in a challenge opponent's league. Well, my challenge opponent's not even here yet. So I did find a spell. It's Goblin Bombardment. So we have 11 damage available. Okay, you know, Traumatic Critique sure knows how to find us, huh? So despite audio issues and my opponent playing really, really slow and us mulliganing at least both sideboard games, we do win the match against Boros. Okay. Definitely keeping this. Probably put back Flashback. On the draw against Prowess. On a mulligan, too. They plot a stick shot show off. And then because we got the mountain, we can't cast the spiral. It's a little awkward. With all the unbound flourishing decks you've been running, I was thinking a single ballista might be worth it. I'm just not going to play a ballista and an oracle. Good to draw, opponent. If the oracle is the last card in the deck, you can't loot it away and then unearth it. Yeah, or if you only have if you have too few cards, you can't guarantee that you'll have it unearth. Do they have mutagenic growth? Good draw, good draw, good draw. I concede to you, opponent. Endurance has been a big part of my cyber plan against prowess decks in general for a little while now. I think we're going to go down one critique and the cryptics. Do you think with Fire's Invention, the Emerituses could be interesting at all? I mean, no, I don't. I don't think they're like particularly good with Fires of Invention, right? Because you like they eat up both of your spells for turn, which is not exactly great, and they're just better ways to ramp into the. I assume you mean the blue Emeritus. If the like prepared spells didn't count towards your spell count, it would be more interesting. Can you help me understand when to use Spiral versus Planar Genesis and vice versa? I mean, for the most part in Rec, I think Spiral is just better. This has been my testing with it. The ability for you to go on turn 2, Growth Spiral, put a land into play, and cast a 1-mana spell, like that line is just a little bit too elite. And then one awkward thing about Planar Genesis too is like if you are kind of flooded, but you also want to ramp on turn 2, Planar Genesis can't ramp you and get you a spell. It's not the biggest deal, but it is like really annoying when it happens. And so like take this game. Like with my growth spiral, I could potentially counterspell a 2-drop, or maybe another channeler this turn, and then next turn I could go growth spiral plus counterspell next turn. And it's just like that dynamic is just too good. Whereas Nexus, yeah, with a Traumatic Critique, you don't need to or get to play Nexus anymore. Why choose Sideboard Pyroclasm? Yeah, Pyroclasm Fire Magic's a little weird. Like in this deck, when you're playing like completely at instant speed, you have no creatures that it's going to kill yourself. Fire Magic, I think, is kind of the clear choice. In some decks where you have lower mana curves, you're playing all at sorcery speed. You have a bunch of creatures like, let's say, Nethergoyf, Fear of Missing Out, creatures that just don't die to your own Fire Magic. In those situations, I tend to like to play Pyroclasm. And so, you know, it's possible you could encounter a scenario where the lines are a little bit more blurred between like which is the right one to play. Did you ever try Wand in a Wreck Shell? I did. Now in this shell specifically, we get to be entirely creatureless, and I don't know if I can stress. I mean, we have Kaheera, I guess, but I don't know how much I can stress how big a deal that is. Like especially game 1, just all of your opponent's removal spells are completely dead cards, and you get to just win the game with Traumatic Critique, which is a good card by itself, and it's just a game winner.
So I do think I'm going to play around mutagenic growth by using discharge instead of fire here. They do keep a card on top. I guess we could hold up 2 counterspells. It seems pretty unlikely we'll need to use 2 counterspells though. Like Nexus of Fate has been like kind of a mandatory include to give you like that inevitability in the late game and a way for you to always go over the top of your opponents playing Wreck and a way for you to like make sure like any Kaheera or Snapcaster Mage will just win you the game eventually, or like Rin and 6 will win you the game eventually because you have Nexus of Fate. But now you don't need to play a 7 mana instant in your deck. You can just play Critiques and Flashback Critique. Am I getting got by counter magic here? It's okay. We do have the Fire Ice in our hand. I wonder if they have Flashback Dart. They're missing land drops, so I don't think they're probably too likely to want to do that. It is also worth 3 damage, so. Yeah, I wonder if we'll ever get around to playing Mathemagics. I just don't think that there actually is a shell for it. Right, I guess we surveil, so if we see something that we'd really like to draw and play this turn, we can. They did have the mutagenic. Maybe they have 2. Mono blue Tron. I can't. How is it possibly good at Mono blue Tron? Like it's double blue, so you can't play it early very consistently. It's not a better win condition than Karn the Great Creator. Yeah, I can't really imagine it being the right choice there. Is it ever too Cori Mountain Monastery's deck? The card has been super good. Okay, serious answer. Maybe a Lotusfield deck. So the Mono Blue Tron wasn't a serious answer, I see. Also, we kind of lost this game because we discharged the Channeler. So, like, you know, what is a Lotusfield deck? In Modern, that is Amulet Titan. End of list, kind of. Right, they have enough darts. Okay, so we 3-2 our league with Wreck. I'm going to pivot off of it for now for our league deck since we just have... It's just, it takes too long, I think, between rounds. Why did Discharge matter? I could have just held up Counterspell that turn. So I could have, or I could have Counterspelled the